Well, good evening, and welcome one and all. Want to thank you so much for joining me this evening, this Saturday evening, Saturday the 13th of the 7th, on Talking Sip Saturday night. Want to thank those who are joining me on YouTube, those joining me on Facebook, those joining me on TikTok, and those joining me on Instagram. Want to thank you so much for joining me, and let's have a good discussion this evening. And the topic tonight is should MPs have ethics? And I was the whole essence of it is around the illicit enrichment by investigation in Jamaica. It was one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, and now it is eight. Some thought it was two recently, but it wasn't two. Four wasn't exonerated. It is now eight. Yep. And also want to touch base also and talk about the whole issue regarding the hurricane relief. Got some update from the Jamaica High Commission, and it'd be great to hear also from others as to how can people actually, you know, learn and get to understand as to how people can, what should I say, help in the relief efforts for Beryl in Jamaica, because that catastrophic category 4 hurricane did a major impact, especially in places like St. Elizabeth and Clarendon. And I know that many persons in the diaspora are doing work, and of course, sometimes people are a bit wary about some of the GoFundMe and the what should I say, the bank accounts and the relief efforts. So let's talk about that tonight as well. But let's look at the whole aspect from the High Commission. But one of the things I wanted to say about the whole aspect with the illicit enrichment, I've said it before in a video which I did in my start and my promotion of the show tonight. And I said this very clearly, that whenever a member of parliament is putting himself forward to be elected as as a parliamentarian, they are normally deemed as prospective parliamentary candidates. And they go on there, knock on doors, and they say, hey, I'm your man, I'm your woman for the hour, vote for me and everything will be all right. Don't vote for the others, just vote for me. And we saw recently in the UK, whereby you had the Conservative booted out of office, called the election at the mercy of the people and gave Labour a landslide. But people are going and knocking on doors and say, I'm your man for the hour. Publicly, they came in. Publicly, they knocked on the doors, and publicly, they were sent to the House of Commons. There was Labour got 412 MPs, I think over 200 more than what they had before. So a lot of people were sent to the House of Commons. And likewise in Jamaica, a lot of people are being sent to the House of the Garden House to be to represent the people of Jamaica, to represent the people of the UK, and I'm not talking about Massa Mark or Marky British, And when you think about it like this, if one of these MPs or so, if one of them, if two of them or three of them or four of them or five of them or six of them or seven or eight of them are being investigated for illicit enrichment, investigated for corruption, don't you think that they should be going back to the public, going back to their constituents and say to them, hey, guess what, guys? I'm being investigated for this A, B, and C, but not Nagosa, but I just want to let you know because you're the guys who put me there. Not to be hiding behind gag orders, not to be hiding behind laws or so. Publicly you came in, publicly you should go out. Or publicly you should be there before the people, being transparent, accountable, and responsible. And there are code of conducts, there are standards, 7 standards which are being in place there. So I just want to talk about that tonight. And so let's start the show. Thank you. Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. I've got um, my good mates here, Mr. Herbert Machette and Sir Matunda McCullough. Did I say McCullough? Did I say sir? I said sir. Did I say sir? You're on mute, sir. Um, Matunda. Yeah.
Good
So,
evening, everyone.
Yeah.
It's Makula, M-U-K-U,
Yeah,
Makula.
Mukula. Did I say sir? I said sir Mukula.
I don't know why you're knighting me already. It's
so,
all right. That's one accolade I don't need.
what's the distinction between Mr. and Sir?
What's that?
What's the distinction between Mr. and Sir?
Well, actually, doctors doctors are not called doctors when they're very high level. They call him Mister. You're at a high level.
Was it?
Yes. My good friend Dr. Burton used to come on the show. Ophthalmologist. He's not called doctor. They call him Mister. So Mister's of a high level, even bigger than Sir.
And that's your excuse and you're sticking to it.
You know. Listen, guys. Tell me. Yeah. No problem. Yeah, no problem. And they ready. What are you guys drinking this evening on Tokens?
I'm having some minty.
Minty. Okay. I'm having some mango and pineapple.
Orange juice.
Orange juice. Okay, cool.
The poverty is real.
poverty, the poverty is real. And ladies and gentlemen, on YouTube, Facebook, or whatever like that, let us know what you're drinking. Carl Duncan, Chan, and those on TikTok as well. Facebook, let us know what you're drinking. Yeah, I'm being very straight to the point in this topic because the next hour we want to talk about the hurricane relief. But just for this first bit here, um, illicit enrichment. This is going around in circles. Corruption uh, in Jamaica. It was six, and now we got two piling on. And what is happening now is that everybody's making names and saying, "Who are these persons?" And the PNP came out and said, "We have checked our 22 persons," and they said none of them. And the JLP is actually saying the PNP is being mischievous by doing so. Uh, wouldn't this be all sorted out by just naming these persons?
Well, the question: Who are you suggesting should name them? Who should name them?
Who should name them? I
Yeah.
well. What we understand is that there's a law. We can't even ask persons to break the law at the same time.
Pardon me?
There's a law where there's a gag order at the same time, whereby the Integrity Commission cannot name them.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, and you can understand at times the rationale behind that, at
Mm,
least at the time when the legislation was enacted in 2017. But I'm
mm,
not so sure that the reason or the rationale for that, i.e., to protect people's privacy, because ultimately it's just an allegation that has been made. But if you compare that with a citizen who is not a public servant or is not a member of parliament, when he or she is accused of any criminal conduct, they don't benefit from that type of
protection.
protection. Let's call it protection for a second. And so there's a level of inconsistency there, some may say. But those who are listening who don't agree with me would say to you that that inconsistency, if that's what we want to call it, is justified because you're talking about persons in public sphere.
Mm,
When you and I, if we happen to be so unlucky, if we are accused of any particular crime and we're charged, the police will put our names in the public sphere.
yeah.
We don't get as much attention as if, for example, if Floyd Green, as a member of Parliament and Minister of Agriculture, if he is charged with an offense, a criminal offense, he'll get undue attention, and that might not necessarily be good for him, and also perhaps his family members. But I think it's the nature of what happens when you're in public service. It has its benefits and it has its demerits. I, for one, I don't necessarily. I used to be of the view that the present uh, anonymity that is enjoyed by persons who have perhaps been were being investigated by the Integrity Commission. I used to be of the view that they should benefit from such anonymity, but I think that I've thought about it more and more, and I've realized that in fact it is part of the undermining of the confidence that people might have in our institutions if we preserve that sort of gag clause, because everyone in Jamaica understands, and the law in Jamaica is such that everyone is presumed innocent until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're a public servant or you're a member of parliament or a minister of government, I think it should not accord you with a status above and beyond that of the high of a citizen. So when it comes on to naming that person, I think the government of the day, or in that case, the Jamaican Labour Party, I should say, I think people are being investigated in their capacities as member of parliament, but I stand to be corrected. They can say who these persons are. They can say who these persons are. The fact that I don't think it's mischievous for a political party leadership to come out and say those persons who are members of the House of Representatives in who are from the People's National Party are not being investigated. I don't think it's mischievous. I think it is part of the responsibility on the People's National Party to tell the people of Jamaica we don't have anyone who's been investigated, and I think anything less um, would be wrong. And I suspect the Jamaica Labour Party feels the way it does because by the process of elimination, if the party I support, if I'm the leader of a party, does not have anyone on the list, then it means simple deductive reasoning will tell you that the other party, the persons who are being investigated, are from the other party.
It could be deemed or classified like a dereliction of their duties. The duties based on the standard of the code of conduct and the responsibility of public officials, that when they go into office as a public official, it is public. They're deemed public. Public they go in, public they go out. Herbert, don't you think that these guys or these persons should be actually going back to their constituents with their tail between their head and say, listen, you are the guys who actually put me there in Gordon House. So I'm going back to you and I'm going to say, listen, I'm being investigated. And I just want to let you guys know while this process is going through. Do you think they should be going back to their people?
In theory, yes,
Mm.
but in the current world, it's not happening. What they do instead is make themselves the martyr to say, look at what they're doing to me,
Mm.
right? Votes me kind of thing to get the public on their side.
Or to
So
get some sort of sympathy, you mean?
yeah, to get sympathy. So now it becomes an issue of the court of public opinion as opposed to the court of jurisprudence. So it doesn't matter what the outcome is at trial, if there's a trial. If the court of public opinion say no, they're not guilty, then that's what they will write on.
Mm. There's a saying, Matundo, that the persons who are being investigated don't know. I see a lot of people saying that they don't know, and I just say something here. In Jamaica, the Integrity Commission is responsible for investigating corruption and ensuring integrity among public officials, including MPs, whether MPs under investigation by the Integrity Commission are aware of the investigation can depend on several factors, including the stage of the investigation and the specific protocols of the commission. Do we believe that these persons know? Some people are saying that they don't know. And that's one of the basis of where they say that the PNP is being mischievous by
It's utter
saying,
nonsense, man. It's utter nonsense. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. The
yeah,
If you think rationally,
yeah,
without, I mean, I read the legislation, and of course, the Integrity Commission would have contacted them.
yes,
What you're being accused of is effectively having 10 suites when your income says you can only afford five.
yes,
So, without, because of the nature of what is being alleged, it is inconceivable that an investigation would have commenced where you're not asking, where you're trying to ascertain whether or not someone has the resources um, to justify what you're seeing. It is inconceivable that any
mm,
investigation of such an allegation could be proceeding for such a period without the persons, the eight, knowing of it. Remember, you're required to make certain declarations, complete statutory declarations. If it
mm,
is that the declaration is incomplete, or if there are matters arising from the declaration that has been submitted, if there are matters arising, I think it's the director of investigation, a division, a director within the Integrity Commission, who has the
mm,
power under the statute to make a request. Now,
mm,
the term illicit enrichment is really one that doesn't appear, I think, in the Integrity Commission Act. It's language that's borrowed from the Proceeds of Crime Act jurisprudence.
yes,
But I think enough has been said for persons to understand that what is being asked is for you to outline and tell the commission, explain to the commission how it is that you have 10 suites when your income tells you that you can only have five. So I think
mm,
it's a bit of sophistry to say that people don't know who they are. If they don't know who they are, then the Integrity Commission would not have been conducting its investigation in accordance with common law principles of fairness or in accordance with the statutory procedure. There's a procedure set
yeah,
out in the
yeah.
statute. So it's nonsense.
I see someone on TikTok, gifted, says illicit enrichment is a serious matter. How can we trust them with taxpayers' money? And that's a good point there, because I was saying that, can you imagine if one is being investigated and you're actually operating in an area where you got access to the information, which which you can actually doctor, if anything. So in a way, like, one should actually recuse themselves
I
while
mean,
this is at.
I don't necessarily think that because I am being investigated, I must naturally resign as a member of parliament. I
Well,
think
not a member of parliament, but I'm talking like if you're a minister or
yes, yes,
parliamentary
yeah.
secretary or something.
As a minister, I certainly think that while it does not necessarily mean you're guilty,
Yes.
when you resign, it means you're stepping away from the process so that there can be no additional accusation
of
of
undue
you
influence.
being yeah, undue influence. I think it is the correct thing to do. But I
Yes.
mean, you see, one of the things that, in terms of a structure, we realize that the Integrity Commission, its remit, it's not just member of parliament. You know, in some jurisdictions, you have you do have a body that investigates parliamentarians. Yeah, give me two
Yes.
seconds. Yeah, please.
No problem. Yeah. Yes. Follow up on that point there, Herbert.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it's only right that if you're under investigation, which you would have been notified before it's even started that you will be investigated for, and the issues would have been outlined in that notice.
mm,
That as a responsible member of society, you take a step back without even making any public announcement,
mm,
right? That you're being investigated for certain offenses or certain breaches. The fact that one would choose to um, go onto the public into the public space
yes.
to make that announcement that they're being investigated is a sign to me that they're bearing undue pressure to be brought on the investigators, right?
Yes.
Telling people in their circles, shut your mouth, don't say nothing if they come. You
Mm,
don't know me, I don't know you. And
yes.
that is putting a wrench into the wheels of justice, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because the longer the longer it is drawn out, it is the more likelihood that down the road it will be forgotten, not forgiven, but forgotten.
Mm,
Because dust would have been grown on that file, and so many things would have happened after that that they would forget to that the investigators would be um
frustrated, you
so
said?
so take frustrated and taken up with issues, more current issues, and to be focusing on my file because it's water under the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, in all fairness, that the Integrity Commission must be allowed unfettered access to all parliamentarians and their affairs, knowing that it borderlines corruption if
Yeah.
they're not investigated fully, or if investigated fully, the same parliamentarians will come out and make an alarm that the board of the Integrity Commission must resign.
Mm,
So either way, pressure is being made to broad on the committee, on the commission, for work that is meant to be transparent and allow us, the members of the public, the Jamaican citizenry,
mm,
to hear from from an independent body
yeah.
what took place. Because it's not all investigations will lead to an arrest or a prosecution. But
Yeah.
the purpose of an investigation is to highlight the truth
Mm.
of what has taken place.
Or to come to the truth, come to the
Yes,
knowledge, be
yes.
transparent, be accountable. Yes. Yeah.
Not all persons investigated are guilty or will be found guilty of an offense. An
The, the,
investigation is just to unearth the truth of a matter which is being investigated.
the same the same many times that that innocent until proven guilty. So therefore, that's the reason, or that's the rationale to not disclose the names of the persons. But I sort of push back against that because anyone where there's an accusation, and for argument's sake, if they are charged, more than likely when they are charged, and you go before a court of law, then what will happen is that you will be tried, and of course, your name will be exposed and everything, and things may come out, but you could be exonerated. I mean, just like look what happened to my guy there who accidentally killed the person in the States there.
Baldwin.
Baldwin, yes.
Yeah.
Through some what should I say? Some issue with the prosecution. Let's throw the case out, isn't it?
Yes. Rightly so.
Yeah.
Because the investigators
Thank
have
you.
already adjudicated that that they will find him guilty.
Yes.
And because of that, they hid crucial evidence.
Mm.
Right? In cases like those, or in cases before the court, it is incumbent upon the prosecution to disclose everything that they have, whether it works in their favor, yes or no.
Mm. Yeah. Matilda, we just jumped a bit briefly on the
Mhm.
case of Alec Baldwin there, where
Case of?
Alec
Alec
Baldwin
Baldwin,
case which was thrown out because of some prosecution.
Case of whom?
Alec
Alec
Baldwin, the movie star in America that was charged for killing the
Okay.
the cast member last year.
Hmm.
Yeah.
She was accidentally shot.
Well, can't say I'm interested in those things. I know what you're talking about, but I'm not.
Or we just had linked that there because many people are saying that the naming of the person is like you're saying they are guilty, and they're saying everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty, and they were saying these are some of the things coming through. I don't know where these things come from. Sometimes I don't know why I
You can
read
tell
these.
where they come from. They're politically influenced. These are people who their view on the law is influenced by the party from
Mm,
which the person who is against whom the accusation is made
yes.
comes. Simple as that. It's not based. It's not a principled position.
Mm,
It's a position that changes based on the political implications and relevant political factors. That's all. These are the
well,
persons that you cannot trust.
mm. We're looking at solutions and way forward because the genie in the bucket or the issue is this level of many people grabbing out of air many different names. People send me names of different persons who they say are the six, or who they say was the two, or who they say is now the eight or so. Um, this is actually going into the society whereby, depending sometimes of what political persuasion you are, people are naming names. How can that be addressed? Because right there now it is manifesting some level of absurdity in the air. Is it just naming them, or is it just not saying it at all? Not saying it at all.
I don't think not saying it is good for our democracy,
Mm.
and it
But,
is.
but you're just saying that there are eight persons or six persons. That doesn't say anything, Matunda, does
No,
it?
no, no, no. I'm saying not
Yeah.
not naming the persons.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
is undermining to the democratic process, and it
Okay.
also fuels speculation, which
Yes.
is not fair on any member of parliament,
Mm.
because there is a perception already that politicians are corrupt in the Jamaican
Yes.
context, and that they
Mm.
ought not to be trusted, and that every single politician is on the take. Now, if I'm a member of parliament and my virtue and integrity are intact, then I certainly would want to that to be a matter of public record and knowledge. And to the extent that this issue of the illicit aid is causing persons to perceive good MPs as persons who are not true public servants and lacking integrity, that
Mm.
we must name the individuals. I mean, me naming you does not in any way, shape, or form equate to me saying that you are guilty.
Guilty.
It
Yes.
it certainly does not. And as I said at the start of the program, the ordinary citizen, the next citizen,
Mm.
um, is not provided and or accorded that level of protection.
Yes.
Only a bunch of politicians could have passed a legislation which says if we are being investigated for a matter of such a serious nature, our names ought not to be published. Only politicians could would do that. When I
Protecting
was,
themselves.
yeah, when I was younger,
Uh,
someone said to me when I was at school, you know, if it is lawmakers were crooks, housebreaking would never be a crime.
mm.
And that's exactly what's happening. They're protecting. They have managed to pass a legislation on both sides um, that protects them from the public, i.e., the taxpayers, knowing who these persons are who are being accused of these things.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what that is saying actually is that the government, politicians have passed laws protecting themselves and cooing themselves in a little box, separating themselves from the people. And guess what? The people are actually the super bosses. The people are actually the boss. The people are the ones that actually sent them. The constituents sent them to Parliament, sent them to Gordon House, and yet at the same time, they are hiding things from their bosses. That is
Hmm.
what it is, really. How can that be changed then? Because you have laws, you have okay. Is that a bad law then? Would one say that's a bad law?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily. What would make it a bad law? It's
Yeah,
certainly it's not one that sits well with our
yeah,
modern day understanding of accountability and
yeah.
transparency. I wouldn't say it's a bad law. It's certainly a law that needs to be looked at,
Mm,
reviewed, and it should that aspect of the legislation should be repealed. I mean, I personally think that this legislation is structurally um, flawed in many respects, but it's not a criticism of the first attempt
mm,
at bringing, because let us not fool ourselves. Prior to this legislation, there was a compendium of different legislations that existed to scale down and prevent corruption in our system, both from
mm.
the public servants and also from the perspective of parliamentarians. So it's an improvement, but like all laws, once we have had the experience of it operating, then we usually see ways in which we can improve the specific legislation. So it's not bad law; it's law that can be improved upon,
Yes.
not just in that respect, but in other respect, and it should be done.
Before I go on to Herbert, someone Graham on TikTok says some members simply doesn't have an income to match their assets, their lifestyle, and I feel that the Integrity Commission are having to act with one arm tied.
Yeah,
I saw where is who is the president, who is the chairman of the Integrity Commission?
Mr.
Is it
Simon Panton, Mr.
Pant?
Panton.
Yeah, he was saying he was getting a bit annoyed by some of the questions or some of the things by the public as well. It seemed like they're somewhat maybe frustrated because, as someone just said a while ago, their hands are tied. There's not much they can do, really, in a sense, in making these disclosures. I mean, I was reading whereby they said they have been troubled in getting these statutory declarations because some people are getting gifts from people who are dead. Herbert, people are dead. They are getting gifts. They are getting gifts. They said the people are dead, and they said they are not keen on actually. I'll actually, I'll actually read it. They're not actually keen on
Are, are,
investigating dead people.
are you saying that that is your last name?
You know.
Right? But in all fairness, I think when people want to get rich, they either build a church or join politics.
Well, I don't necessarily
Right?
subscribe to that. I'm not. I haven't gotten to that level of cynicism.
Mm, mm,
Right?
I
But
still believe it's still one of the best ways to serve your nation.
yes,
yes.
it's one of the best ways to serve the nation. However, they have flipped the narrative to the nation serving them.
Well,
And
yeah, I understand. I
if
understand that there are persons
if
there who
you
do
have
that.
voted for them, you are their bosses, you employ them. But when things happen, you're going to get messages that you cannot talk to the boss in kind of way.
Do you know why? Daniel?
Yeah. So they have so they have given themselves that type of protection.
No, no, I understand all that, no, but taking it back to the essential
Yeah.
issue, essential
Yeah.
issue.
So
Um,
I think politicians should avail themselves to be properly investigated
Mm,
without without
the level.
waterboarding or blackballing the investigators.
I mean, you can't accuse him of blackballing it. I mean, I think what Mr. Panton is saying is there's a degree of Nazism going on, you know,
mm,
and it needs to be. I just think that the legislation can be stronger. I give you an example. If you have failed to do your declaration within a specific period, the commission, and I'm using the word broadly now, can write to you and give you an additional 30 days to respond. And I was
yeah.
like, 30 days? What are you talking about? Somebody hasn't responded to you in over a year. Why are you giving them an additional 30 days to respond? I mean, 7 days is enough. 7 days is enough. That's how serious you are. A failure to do the declaration attracts, I think, less in terms of
500.
penalty
It is
than
80
if you
calendar days or
give
30
false
working days.
information.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? If you don't declare it, you attract, I think, less of a sank in terms of financial penalty.
yes.
But if you declare and what you declare is false, you attract a higher penalty. I mean,
Yes. That's
I don't
correct.
see that level of dissonance. The level of dissonance I find incomprehensible because I
It,
don't
it,
think if you
it is.
fail
It
to
is.
declare, you're as culpable as a person who declares falsely.
Yeah. It is 500,000 if they keep chasing you and chasing you, and
Yeah,
you don't,
you do-
and you
two
be
million,
fined, or yeah, and then if you do it falsely,
two
it
million.
is 2 million.
Yeah, and I just like that doesn't make any sense. That
Yeah,
that 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 difference doesn't make any sense because a man or woman who declares falsely has not declared.
yeah.
It's not declared for all intents and purposes.
And the question would be that 2 million, if it, which gets them out of jail, is that the end of it? They can go about their business after that.
Yeah, and I personally think that that person should be um,
Barred from holding public
barred
office.
from holding any other public office,
Yes,
including being a director of any company,
yeah,
because the moral. Remember, if you're gonna be engaged in hold owning a company or being a director in a company, you're required to have a level of honesty. It is a
yes.
presumed honesty, and if you, for example, have not declared what you should have declared, it suggests that you are not a person of the required moral standing.
Matunda, and think about this, and Herbert as well. Um, in Jamaica, and for Jamaicans there now, they are seeing this and they're not happy about it. Well, depending on which side of the coin. You've got the persons on one side which are maybe lined up with a particular party. They will be okay keeping it
As
hushed,
it is.
but then you'll have maybe another sector of people, okay, maybe from the other side, and also you got good sense people, or people good thinking people are saying this is wrong. This something is wrong right here, because right now we are seeing a situation whereby you got 8 members of parliament who are being investigated for corruption, and we don't know who they are. We don't know what position they are in. We don't know who these people are. Many people are making speculations and naming different names. And of course, as you say, lots of speculation just manifests into confusion. But how can this then be changed? Because what we have in a situation is whereby the majority of the persons in parliament are of one side and the lesser side is it. So therefore, if it goes in, nothing's going to happen.
No, yeah, it's not going to be changed. This is where I think you have the role of the civil society
The
and the
society,
media. And the media, I mean, in a democracy, these things, they mean something, and it is at times like these that they take on a greater meaning, especially in how polarized our politics is, because you will never get anyone in the Jamaica Labour. I mean, remember the context. The prime minister has effectively double gagged the members of his cabinet not to speak about this issue.
did he say
This
the
is
prime minister? Did he say the prime minister or the government?
well, the prime minister
Prime
has
Minister.
Prime minister.
prime minister has gagged members of his cabinet not to speak about this issue.
Mm,
Now, that's his business, but that's not, I think, in keeping with the the democracy that we're trying to foster and the experiment that we're engaged in, because these are serious allegations. And so the press and the civil society institutions, not just NIA, um, across the board, across the
yes.
board, needs
Well,
to come out and,
well,
and,
well,
and
Daniel,
speak about
well,
this.
well, 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 Daniel did say that the civil society is not just she, Rosalie, and Jeanette Calder. She said civil societies always, everybody, unions, whatever, need to work together.
Of course, I mean
You know,
there needs to be a healthy appreciation in our country of how undermining corruption is to our democratic tradition. It's really, really undermining. I mean, if people are holding assets that are at variance with their declared income, it
mm,
really puts the process at risk of capture.
mm,
And we cannot ignore the significance of that, having regard to how other countries in the Americas, the Colombias, and so forth, have how they have had their particular experience or experiences with being captured by, in the case of Colombia, at one point, the cartels. I mean, we might not have the cartels in our political experience and reality, but certainly if you have members of parliament who have assets that are not backed up by their income, it raises the question, a few questions. One, where are they getting these extra resources from? Two, the source of these resources. Are these sources that will have particular influence over or on a minister? And what are the implications, if that is so, for the decision making process as to where a road is constructed, where water is distributed, where a government program is run and how it is run, who is employed, who is not employed. In other words, this issue touch and concerns every single Jamaican, for the simple reason that you have ministers who make decisions in our system. And if they're the ones making the decisions, then you and I, civil society, the press, and that includes even the radio stations or the
Well,
television stations that
well,
are
well, 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 well,
that
this
are
is where I'm. Yeah.
biased are
Well, this is
biased
where I'm. Yeah.
towards.
Well, this is where I'm coming to now, because the recent commission report, which came out recently for the year 23-24, they said there were two MPs which were being investigated for illicit enrichment, and apparently media reports concluded that the illicit six is now down to two, which was by the Jamaica Gleaner. There it is. Or that
Mm.
only two parliamentarians are now under investigation for illicit enrichment. That was by Nationwide FM, July the 9th. So the point is this: the media houses, how robust are the media houses if they actually miss that? Or are they actually going with a particular line that the Integrity Commission had to come out and to correct the media stories on the subject of parliamentary referred for illicit enrichment? How
I mean,
sharp are they to hold the government accountable?
I mean, I saw that, and I don't want to attribute any negative connotation to, let's be specific, Nationwide
Mm,
on this issue. But in as much as I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt,
yes.
and I'm doing so kicking and screaming,
Mm,
I I'm tempted to ask the question, how could anyone at Nationwide miss such a simple point? They're 2 different years.
yes.
And there's been an orchestrated attack from Belmont Road, and I don't care who wants to deny it and who wants to hear me say so. It's a fact that is supported by the conduct of the likes of what's his name? That wretched man from St. Catherine, who's an MP, Warmington.
Warren,
Yeah,
He's still around? Him still a play?
well, he's there busy campaigning for the prime minister.
I thought
Even
they
though the
told him
prime
to come out of the house. Sorry.
minister. No, I mean, there's been a concerted effort to try to weaken and cut off the Integrity Commission by members
Yeah,
of the Jamaica Labour Party,
yeah.
and in one instance, members of the cabinet, and also by the prime minister, because he has been silent on this issue. And I would say, in very clear terms, those who try to destroy our democratic institutions, or institutions of governance, are a threat to our constitution and our way of life. I don't care if they're prime minister or ministers of state. They're a threat to our way of life. And people might hear me say this and think I'm an alarmist. No,
Mm,
corruption is a serious issue in our society. It's a serious issue in our society. And if you're attacking the institution that's been created to create a bulwark between
yeah,
ourselves and and these criminals in suits, then it tells me that you are culpable. And there are persons within the media, who
mm,
hide behind microphone until they decide to go in the Senate, for example,
mm,
who attack institutions merely because the institution is daring to look in over the fence where they are conducting their affairs. Now, I'll be the first to admit that the Integrity Commission certainly has made some errors, but the fact that it has made errors suddenly should not lead to a conclusion that that is because the Integrity Commission is People's National Party. So that's a
mm,
nonsense. It so happens that the 8 persons who have been investigated seemingly are from one particular political party. That's how it seems. You can't blame the Integrity Commission for that. You can't blame the other party for that. What you do, you look in your house and say to your members, "How did you allow this to happen to you? Why didn't you live up to the oath
yeah,
of office that you took?" I mean, one of the things that we are struggling with is to have a code of conduct for members of parliament. We don't have a code of conduct for a member of parliament. They take the oath and that's it.
You mean the 7 codes of conduct which they need to sign? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, they haven't signed it.
They haven't signed it. Yeah,
No.
they haven't signed it, Martin and
So,
Herbert and people. They haven't signed these code of conduct, and I think I know them by heart now. Selflessness, responsibility, accountability, honesty, trustworthy leadership. Come on, these are some key things that they haven't actually signed up to, Herbert, and people there on the to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. The government side does not sign up to these things. The PNP side, it is there. It is there for the record that they have signed up for it. But yeah, sorry,
I
yes, sir.
think I think what one side is saying is, since you find people on my side, or since you claim people on my side has enriched themselves, it can't be that there's not one somebody or one person on on the other side that has not done so. Go find that person,
Yes.
right? When you find that person, come back and talk to me.
Mm.
Until then, I don't want to hear from you, because all of my men can be corrupt. All of my men can be doing wrong while the other side is clean.
Mm.
And I think that is irresponsible of the current administration to be putting the integrity commission in a corner,
Mm.
preventing them from doing their work without fear without fear of favor, malice
I
of
mean,
guilt.
it's just wrong that people are, countries that have stable governments and are experiencing growth. Yeah, there are the factors that will influence and determine if you have growth and quality of life and high standards of living. One of the important things to note about these countries is that they have institutions that work, be there in a communist China or democratic United States. The institutions work. You cannot tear down institutions and expect that tomorrow morning you can exhort people to to fashion a society. It doesn't work like that. It
Mm.
doesn't work like that.
I'm gonna show the integrity commission the bit there that sets out. Uh, I hope it is here. Parliamentary Commission for Standards. That's not the one. I don't know if I'm going to find it. Integrity Commission Act. Nope, 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 nope. But anyway, there's 7 code of conduct there, which is out there, and the 7 of them are as follows. And here they are. I'll just repeat them. Code of conduct: selflessness. Holders of public office should act solely in terms of the public interest. Integrity: holders of public office must avoid placing themselves under any obligation to people or organizations that might try inappropriately to influence them in their work. They should not act or take decisions in order to gain financial or other material benefit for themselves, their family, or their friends. They must declare and resolve any interests and relationships. Even dead men will give them money. Uh, Objectivity: holders of public office must act and take decisions impartially, fairly, and on merit, using the best evidence and without discrimination or bias. Accountability: holders of public office are accountable to the public for their decisions and actions and must submit themselves to the scrutiny necessary to ensure this. Openness: holders of public office should act and take decisions in an open and transparent manner. Information should not be withheld from the public. Information should not be withheld from the public unless there are clear and lawful reasons for so doing. Sometimes you got bad laws, that's what I'm saying. Honesty: holders of public office should be truthful. Truthful. Leadership: holders of public office should exhibit these principles in their own behavior. They should actively promote and robustly support the principles and be willing to challenge and poor behavior wherever it occurs. There it is. Yeah. These are the 7 things that the government should sign up to. which they're not going to do that. They're not doing it.
Yeah, but you see, I mean, I get. I'm someone who I take the view that we are in a democratic experiment started
Yeah.
in 1962, but sometimes I can't help but get despondent when I see members of parliament
Mm,
not willing to sign such a basic, basic document, and the prime minister who wants to wax lyrical about fighting crime and those things can't see the connection between not signing a document that talks about openness, accountability, objectivity, integrity, and leadership. He doesn't see the connection between that and the failure of the society in general to roll back from the levels of gun violence that are there, because they're all tied up. A
mm,
society where its leaders are not standing on sound principles is a society in which criminals themselves will feel emboldened to do whatever they want to do.
mm.
I mean, it's just mind boggling.
Buggling.
It's mind
Yes.
boggling. I mean, and then no, I have to ask about the citizens. How could you not want more from leadership?
Mm,
The answer to that question might be because some people just don't know any better, or some people are just interested in a $5,000,
mm,
but not that sort of charity is never questioned. How did we get here in the first place? Well, you're here because you choose and you select leaders who don't have any principles worth emulating.
mm,
That's how you got. That's how you got there, and you can't have just a minority of people saying that these seven principles are important.
mm,
And it is no wonder that it appears at this stage that the list of eight is seemingly members from the government side.
yes.
It's no wonder
And you got to call,
that
and Matumla, as you're rightly saying, you got to call a spade a spade. Let's just call what it is. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
it's no wonder that they are from the government side, because that's the side that hasn't signed the principle, because they're not committed to this. And
Mm,
if you're not committed to this, you cannot be committed to Jamaica. I don't care how many Jamaica flags you wear on your lapel. I don't care how many scholarships you want to offer to people. I really don't care how much you want to talk about there's financial stability. I don't care about these things, because if, as long as there's corruption, it's going to eat away any so-called economic progress that we make. And ultimately, it means it won't feed down to the people. Simple as that.
yeah. It is. It's a shame, and it's a total disgrace, and that's one of the reasons why I say I've got to call these things out as I see it, because as someone was saying to me some times ago, that the civil society is not just a few persons or three organizations. Civil society is everyone, and people really need to put their pressure on, and the people have got to rise up. Isn't that Uche? The people have got to rise up, isn't it? Herbert, you want to say something? Oh, Uche,
Yeah,
how are you?
but Silver,
Yeah, go on, Herbert. Yeah, Uche, we'll come to you in a second.
the,
Yeah.
the, the people have ceased their right to exist when they have given all their power to a set of individuals to adjudicate over their lives,
Mm,
right? As Delroy Chuck said recently, even if the speaker is wrong, she's right.
I mean, I don't think that guy. I mean, I'm so disappointed in that guy. It's not even funny. I'm so
Yeah.
disappointed with him as a minister, and I say that
And
because in another life, when I was about 15, 16, sixth form, I used to read this guy every day. I'm like, this guy sound like he got sense. And for him to be coming out talking such nonsense, I'm like, either the
yeah,
guy's getting senile, or
it,
he's just you're muted action now, or either he's senile, or he just has taken a stupid train and
yeah,
decided he
and
doesn't want to get
I
off.
think I think the Jamaican society, or I wouldn't say the Jamaican society, but a greater part of the Jamaican society
Well,
is
well, well. Listen, I've got this. I've got Action now, J, and he's in Jamaica. He's the only one in Jamaica. We're in the diaspora. Action. We're saying that the civil society, which is yourself, you're part of civil society. And so many people like to say we're civil society, but you're a part of civil society in Jamaica. How do you see this unfolding right before your very eyes with what is happening with the illicit eight integrity commission and issues like this? What's your take on this, General, sir? And good evening, Uche, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Greetings, Mr.
You.
Boss. Greetings, Mr. Mushet and Mr. Makulo. Greetings to the audience.
greetings, my friend.
Yeah. So, I just want to say to Mr. Mushet that you are right in that you just said that we have you know sees the way in which we are acting is as if we don't want to exist, right? But for me, I will continue to advocate until my last breath, because if as Albert Einstein said, the world is not evil because of those who do evil, but because of those who allow the evil to be done. So we have now increased from an illicit 6 to 8, right? And for me, it is really concerning at a national level, right? Because I was saying to Mr. Sidial today that the legislations that we have, it allows for these kind of things to happen, and we have to petition. Now is the time where all of Jamaicans, whether you live on the island or in the diaspora, we need to now emphasize our voices. We need to petition the government to amend all these legislations. I'm talking about the Integrity Commission Act, the Corruption Prevention Act, all of these legislations that is drafted to monitor these public bodies and public offices, right? These legislations has to be reviewed, and anything that is in it, like Section 48 of the Integrity Commission Act, Section 53, Section 54, where the Integrity Commission has no legal power to make these names public. I mean, who would sit down and put forward a piece of legislation that bars the Jamaican people who elects these representatives from not knowing which one of their representative is caught in these kind of practices? You understand? So the legislation has to change, and we have to apply pressure on this government and the opposition, because they both sit in the House of Parliament and preside over these matters. So every single Jamaican, whether they live on the island or overseas, we have to create some form of association, some form of union to really petition the government. But it can't go like this. It really can't go like this, because it is based on my instinct. I think it is more than 8. I think it is more than 8, but they are working with the information that they are getting. But we have a system, a political system that is utterly corrupt, right? So we have to look at the legislations. We have to also look at the law enforcement bodies, right? Are they doing what they should be doing? We are enforcing the law. Because when I was looking at the Corruption Prevention Act for illicit enrichment, it's just an investigation. It's just an investigation. While if you fail to declare your statutory declaration, right, there's prosecutory actions that can be taken. If you misrepresent your statutory declaration, you could be prosecuted. But if you are enlisted under illicit enrichment, it's just an investigation, right? So it is not sitting well with me as a youngster in this country. And as Mr. Makulu just said, it doesn't matter about the good things that you're advertising, the scholarships, the grants, all of these things that you're advertising. If corruption is rampant throughout the political system and in other systems, it eats away, it negates pretty much any economic activity or any social advancement that the country is making. So we have to put a cap on corruption. And it is really, really, corruption robs this country, statistically speaking, billions of dollars annually. And we don't have the health care that we need. We don't have the infrastructure that we need. We don't have, Jamaica just suffered the effects of Hurricane Beryl. And many communities are still without electricity, still without proper communication, right? And pay tax to this country on a daily basis. The legislations are in place to tax us, you understand? And we are not getting the benefit because our monies are going to waste, or they are misappropriated. Our representative that we so elect are doing as they please and not doing what the people require. So we have to really...
And there's a lot of money which is missing as well, isn't it? Which is unaccountable for. I think it's trillions or billions or so like that as well.
You're very accurate.
Yeah. So what do you see as where do you see yourself with the whole? Is it that the concept is that there should be a movement then to sort of lobby, because we're talking about lobbying the government to actually change these laws? Do you want the 8 to be named?
They must be named. We are the ones who put them there. They didn't wait because of their own self. They are elected to represent the people. So you are answerable to the people at the end of the day. That is democracy. You understand? We don't put you in parliament for you to be for there to be secrecy around who is corrupt, who is doing misappropriation of monies, who is acting in a way that is contrary to the interests of the people. We need to know. It is a need to know. And I'm really even concerned that the Prime Minister himself has failed to say anything about it. You understand? It is not sitting well.
You know, there's something, I'm going to go to Matunda. There's something which the recent elections in the UK whereby the Conservative lost. And one of the analysis that came through, one of the general analysis is that, why they say they're sorry, is that they were putting party above the people. Party was above the people, whereby everything was so insular, the party, different leaders, blah, blah, blah. And then the people were just getting annoyed and everything. And I see what is happening in Jamaica is a similar thing whereby the party somewhat seem to be the central focus, protecting this MP, protecting their guys, protecting the man who's alleged to beat his wife and put him in there. And then in a way, they might plan it out. When the next election comes, I believe there might be more people turning out and they're going to vote out this present government. And it's not about PNP or GLP. I'm just standing from outside, looking in from an analytical perspective. Matunda, what you say, sir?
I mean,
what action? No, just
you know, I mean, clearly this brother is much younger than I am, and I like to listen when younger people speak because
I'm younger than Matunda. Matunda, you need to listen to me as well. I'm much younger as well.
I do. That's why you're moderating and I'm listening. Yeah, I mean, I like to hear when younger people speak because it tells you what it caused me to have hope that our democratic experiment won't just die when a group of people have died. And the brother is spot on. We elected these people. people in Jamaica elected them, and therefore they're not in Gordon House on a frolic of their own. They might think so. Therefore, they must be named so that people can be given the information. And when the next election rolls in, it is a factor that people consider when going to the ballot box. I mean, this is not 1962, or neither is it 1972, neither is it 1980 or 89. The electorate, the Jamaican electorate, is more informed or wants to be more informed. So why should this piece of information be withheld from them? And I tell you why. Because no one wants it to be a factor in the upcoming election. And why wouldn't you want the issue of integrity and accountability to be part of the issue or issues that a voter considers in electing someone for public office? It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. And the prime minister is culpable. His silence makes him culpable. Whether or not he wants to accept that, I don't give a damn. His silence makes him culpable, because he ought to be able to say to the people of Jamaica with a rational voice, these persons are the persons who are being investigated. They're cooperating, but as it stands, because they're being investigated, I think that I have taken the decision as the prime minister to relieve them of any ministerial responsibilities that they might have. And that's the decision that I have taken as your prime minister.
Yes.
That's what leadership is about. That is what leadership is about. This is a moment in our history, in our political maturity, where for the first time, a prime minister has an opportunity to show that it is Jamaica first, party second. And I would love to think, and I hope the People's National Party are looking on, because they will have their moment in the sun when they will be required, if it happens, they're required to put the nation before party. It has to be done, because this experiment that we're engaging in, it can only work if the quality of leadership is good. One, two, if the electorate are engaged actively. I mean, I frankly hope that the people of Jamaica, since the prime minister won't do it, the people of Jamaica call for these names, and if they're in their obstinate position, keep resisting that call, people just vote them out. Vote them out. Simple as. And you don't have to be a People's National Party supporter to say vote them out. All you have to be, the only thing you need to be, is a Jamaican citizen or someone concerned about Jamaica to say, this is not right. Can you imagine that happening in a mature democracy? Can you I mean, look at this guy, Neil Hamilton, years ago.
Yes.
He was
Clean,
accused of taking money. Huh?
Is that Neil Hamilton from the UK? No?
Yes.
The white in the white. Oh yes, him and his wife. Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry,
he and his wife. Yeah. He was accused of well, I think more than accused. I think he was found guilty of taking money to ask questions on behalf of some interest group. That was unlawful, and he was turfed out, and he had to serve some time. He had to serve some time. I'm not suggesting to you that somehow the member of parliaments in the United Kingdom are all above reproach. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying to you is that the system work. The system work because there are people in it who have a vested interest in this democracy continuing.
The system in Jamaica works because remember, Jack Smith was sent to prison for taking farm workers' money. Right? Ben Clare was convicted of stealing a painting as far as Italy. PJ Patterson, when he was caught up in the Shell scandal, he stepped back. He said, I shall return. And he did return. Okay? So the system in Jamaica can work if people want it to work.
Yeah. I think that the people of Jamaica, that is where the woke thing comes in. The people of I mean even at the recent diaspora conference, I just wonder if I was a fly on the wall, if anyone dared ask those sort of questions. Uche. They didn't want to ask a question about integrity, about statutory declarations, about illicit enrichment and those sort of things from the diaspora. And therefore one will have to forget about the diaspora with this whole thing and really get down to the people back home. You Uche and the civil society. I consider you as part of civil society, not just the three of NIA, JAMP, and Advocacy Network. Everyone is a part of civil society to really let the powers that be now know that they are going to be voted out at the next election if they don't sort things out. But maybe they need to keep it like that so people vote them out.
And that is why I will always say that the government is trying to hide us Jamaicans living overseas from getting involved in the electoral process by not extending electronic voting.
Yes.
Right? The voting times in Jamaica is between 7 and 5.
7 and 5. It should be up to 10 o'clock, isn't it? Like the UK.
Right.
10
Where,
o'clock, and then Wabble may get the exit polls right away.
People are trying to get to work or trying to get off of work, and by the time they finish working, the electoral of the polling stations are closed.
Mm-hmm.
So hence you'll have that low voter turnout. And the people have spoken, they have given us the mandate to remain in office. When in truth and in fact, the people were not given the opportunity to vote.
Well, I mean, to add to that, Mr. Mushet, my experience in the last local, well, they gave persons time off from working to I don't think I know of any workplace. It would come down to the action of the citizens, right? Because if you stay away from such a very important process, I mean, your employer gives you time to go off to cast your ballot, right? And you don't do it. Then, I mean, we can't really say it is that the people don't get the chance. They do get a chance. But
yeah, but how much time are they afforded? Because
that is where the conversation needs to go, because I think it was like 3 hours or 4 hours they were given, right? And then you have to understand that persons might not work in close proximity to where they're.
There you go.
So yeah, there's a okay.
Well, it could make the difference between the 27% turnout and the 37% turnout at the next election, where they bring it up to 10 o'clock. So, of course, if you got more time, another 5 hours, chances are that could make the big difference between more people turning out and boosting that figures for voting. And I guess that will make the difference. But you guys will have to put that pressure. And of course, I'm here from the diaspora and us to really keep saying these things, because I saw something, which I won't read it out, but I saw a letter from Rattigan saying about how they're trying to scare people into, and they have addresses and so of, bloggers and social media people and so like that, So and what is okay? Donald Trump rushed off stage by Secret Service agents at rally in Pennsylvania. Okay, so that was true then. I will wait for BBC before I verify certain things. I put it up earlier, but I took it off because I couldn't find it from BBC, but it's there now. Yeah, but anyway, I want to really touch on something briefly before we go, and that is the Beryl information. But Usha, is there anything else you want to say in regards to the statutory declaration and in regards to this whole aspect of illicit enrichment and the eight? You know, where do you see those in the diaspora can help, and where do you see more work need to be done to harmonize the voices in Jamaica to work together as one, to put pressure on the government to
All
change
right.
these bad laws?
In in my little organization, because I think you're aware that we are trying to establish a political movement in the country, really represent where there's a
Yeah.
lack of good governance, right? I have reached out to the president of the movement to see how best we can have a meeting, because we have to start a petition. We have to petition the office of the prime minister. But we want to structure our petitions because we want to. There are several matters that we want to bring before the office of the prime minister. We were talking about the toll fare increase, right? That is a matter that we are reviewing for renegotiation of the contract. We're also into the whole Integrity Commission Act, the amendment or the review of that act to remove the gag order or the gag clause from it. So we are doing we are doing some investigation and some reviews before we create a petition to send to have persons sign and leave their reviews, so that we can have it sent to the office of the prime minister for some level of acknowledgement and conversation to take place. So that's pretty much where we are. We as a people, we know what we want for this country, right? And we want a partnership approach. The government might think that we are against the government, right? But we are not against the government. But the things that really good governance is very lacking. You understand? Integrity, transparency, accountability, all of these things. You want to do a constitutional reform, and you want to leave out impeachment. You want to
Yeah.
leave out
Recall.
the
Recall.
recall.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
you're saying to us as a people that you're not in the business of good governance. That is what you're telling us. You understand? So there's so many things happening that is contrary to what we really desire for this country. And so we have to, we are in the draft stage where we're going through these many issues that we have, right? But sooner or later, we're going to be sending out that petition for it to be signed, right? And for the comments to be added, so that we can send it off to the office of the prime minister for review and for some dialogue, because it will not happen. It can't go on like this. It can't go on like this.
Yeah.
You know,
I hear
we
you.
need to.
Yeah, I echo what Matunda say, in regards to the young voice and the youth voice coming through, and I want to encourage you guys, no matter what, to keep speaking. Do not hold back. Don't be intimidated by any voices, even from the prime minister trying to let you guys feel like you cannot say anything. And listen, nothing is wrong with being wrong, but at least you can man up and say you're wrong. You're wrong. You know what I mean? So we're not perfect. I mean, look at what happened with Nationwide. Look at what happened with the Gleaner. They said it was only 2 persons now who are being investigated for illicit enrichment. They got it wrong. You know what? Are you going to call them out and say they are fake, fake, fake? No, they got it wrong. You know what I'm trying to say? And it is now 8. So the NNN made a mistake. The Gleaner made a mistake. But, that's what happened. But you guys have to. And I say this, you guys must, bloggers and those persons must speak, must share your voice. Do not cow down, but don't be easy to just share information. I must emphasize that there must be a level of maturity and responsibility with what you have, with information. As a while ago, I just got someone just sent to me and say Trump got hurt. Well, not Trump got hurt, but Trump had to be rushed off stage. I shared it, and then I said, hang on a second, that's not like me. Let me take it off back and check around my sources. And then I check BBC and I check a couple of places, and they say it is right. And then I put it back. And then so it is a true thing. You know, sometimes
Gotcha.
people sometimes send me information sometimes, and I always say, where did you get it from? Who is the source? Who is the author of it? Can you verify it? Instead of me trying to be the first one. You know, I'm trying to say everybody want to be the first. So I got to encourage you guys as much as possible, and bloggers in Jamaica, to be very responsible and inaccurate with what you share, but do not hold back. Do not hold back as much as possible. It is now 22, I hear. What is now 22, Sharon? Tell me what is now 22.
I mean,
Um,
one of the things and when you talk about this gag, the prime minister in his fee anemic attempt that he's going to go after bloggers, just remind me of this quotation: "The further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those that speak it."
mm,
Simple as that. George Orwell. I mean, so society is drifting away from truth, so people are. I mean, let's not underestimate how effective, just in bringing information, programs like this and others are. Let's not underestimate how effective they are in terms of bringing information to the wider populace, and that's a thing that people who are undemocratic, people who are potential crooks, don't like.
mm,
So you're gonna attack freedom of speech. It's just a lot of nonsense. I mean, I listened to the prime minister when he said it. I never even bothered to take a view. I just said to myself, that's neither right nor wrong, just
mm.
stupidness.
The Prime
Yes.
Minister's gone rogue.
Just
He's gone
stupidness.
rogue. He's
Yeah,
gone rogue.
yeah, yeah.
Prime Minister gone rogue.
Yeah, man, he gone rogue, man.
Well, it was said on Silver's show on Talk and Sip that the Prime Minister gone rogue. Are they gonna come and look for me now?
Eh? I
Well,
mean, it was,
listen.
it was evident from 2020 that he was developing a reputation of going after his critics.
Yes.
Because a couple of guys maybe out of boredom went made some videos, posted them, and the police went looking for them,
Mm,
right? And in a society where you have social media, and that will increase people's ability to speak,
mm,
right? Not because you're not saying something that you would like to hear,
mm,
means that they're committing any offenses. And for you to be going after bloggers and vloggers, you have to show um due cause. Why? What's
mm.
that? Oh, yeah, you have to show due cause why um you're calling for those people to be silenced. This is not Cuba, Russia, nor Hungary. It's
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Yes. 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 Someone said they just tried to assassinate Mr. Trump at rally. Well, listen.
Mm.
Yeah. I just want to say, I just got some information from the Jamaica High Commission. I just want to do my due diligence in this one here. There is the whole hurricane Beryl, which just passed through recently. I got a website which was showing. Let me see if I can show it here. First of all, Uche, how did you fare in Jamaica? Because you're there in Jamaica with the hurricane.
Well, I was I was mostly in the town area, in which I didn't in the Kingston, the corporate area. I was there throughout the storm.
Yes.
Not much damages were done in the metropolitan area, but when I
Mm,
returned my home in the hills, yeah, we had disaster. We had land slippage. we had,
The hills.
yeah, we had, falling power lines and, yeah, all of these things that would, resonate with the passing of a hurricane, right? Yes, electricity went, yeah, and the place was just looking really ravaged. That much I can say, but strangely, we still had mangoes on our mango trees and breadfruit. So this storm seems to have left food for us. It wasn't so bad. Yeah, but
Yes.
but based on things, yeah, we were spared. We were spared, but we had serious electricity issues and communication issues that is still ongoing. That much I can say.
So you got light and everything like that now.
Yeah, we received light on Sunday.
Okay. Well, there's this website here which says Hurricane Relief, Hurricane Beryl disaster relief. Let us rebuild our communities. There's a donate online or by wire transfers, and what it says, like the need list following the passage of Hurricane Beryl. It says only new items from this list will be accepted, and all donations must be properly labeled. Talk about electricity, um, fuel equipment, portable generator. I guess this is not just for the diaspora, but this is a general thing in Jamaica, from search and rescue, building supply tools, farming supplies, shelter supplies as well. Need list following that. You got health, transport, oxygen, neonatal incubators, manual blood pressure. So all these things got damaged in the hurricane.
No, Sylvan, that sounds like a list of from an extortionist.
What's that, Herbert?
That sounds like a list from an extortionist. On a second-hand basis, you just want new things.
Yeah, because well, it's really said a lot of things like we want new this, stretcher multiplication, vaccine refrigerators, pocket pulse, KVA. I don't know what these things are. Generators.
Who's responsible for this website?
It is the
Extortion Association.
No, don't say that. It's from the Office of Disaster Preparedness, ODP, and the beneficiary 2 to 4 Henning Road, Kingston 5, Jamaica. You know where that is, guys? Is that in Jamaica?
Yes.
But I think the office, the ODP, it falls under the responsibility of the Prime Minister. That's all.
All right.
So let me ask you,
Yeah.
why would they want inflatable boats?
Somebody, you guys, this is a serious thing. And somebody said, chopper list.
That is right.
Chopper list.
So with all the trillions of dollars that are unaccounted for from the office of the Prime Minister, the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education, this is where we're at, creating a list.
It's like you're telling me that it doesn't matter what you can afford for yourself, right? Mm-hmm. This is what I want, and I want it in plastic, just come from the manufacturers.
Yeah.
Right? I must be properly labeled to the government of Jamaica. Mm. So I must pay all the shipping and all the handling. And the government of Jamaica just go pick it up and say, yeah, a stalwart just set me up.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing afterwards.
Yeah? But if I want to vote, I have to go buy a ticket to go to Jamaica to vote.
Yeah.
Election tourism.
Yeah.
Election tourism.
Yeah.
Election tourism.
Heavy duty chainsaws, heavy long blade chainsaws, shafting machines. I don't even know what that is. Motorized knapsack sprayers, heavy. So like it appears as if someone is opening a business.
Yeah.
Bolt guns, metal, mechanical augers, trash pumps, portable pipe fitting machines, heavy duty spanner sets. I mean, these things getting serious. Circular saws. I grew up in Clarendon. I grew up in the southern Clarendon, and we're very much prone to flooding. I mean, maybe and I lived through Gilbert. Maybe the hurricanes have gotten more sophisticated. I mean, I can't remember thinking about mechanical augers, trash pumps, and those things. All I needed was some food and to get by, and I ate a lot of corned beef during that period.
There you go.
I even saw Cliff Hughes using a cutlass and cutting on a big tree too.
Yeah, I mean,
That's all you need, cutlass. And for me,
nonsense
when Gilbert was going around, all I was worried about was my component set and having a plastic and the name of it was called Jedi, just to let you know. I was in Covent Garden. All I was caring about was that component set. Nothing else. I didn't care about anything else. I don't know nothing else. My component set.
So let's
people not serious.
common supplies. Chicken what? Chicken feeders and waters. How on earth are you going to ask for these things in hurricane relief?
Chicken wafer feeders, seed planters, reaping crates, water boots.
I mean, the thing about it for me is that someone actually sat down and typed this up.
This one like at least coming from hardware and lumber and
Hold on. Cold storage igloos, all sizes.
That's right, all sizes.
Mr. Cyril, you mentioned earlier this list. This list is for the diaspora members, or it's a general list?
I think it's a general. Well, it's a Jamaica High Commission UK.com. Jamaica High Commission.uk.com. Hurricane Beryl Relief, Jamaica High Commission. So
well, I'll tell you what. Not even a nail of that list would be going to Jamaica from me. No, because just like after Gilbert we're missing. Yeah. And when you had all those scandals of in the preceding years, these things won't pass won't pass a wharf.
I think they would allow it to go through on the basis that it goes through this network or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And what happened after that?
These things end up in the responsibilities or in the private domains of member of parliaments to give out as election for bribe people for vote.
Electioneering.
Yeah. By the way, what did you think about? They said 5 million or 4 million was given to MPs to help their constituent. I keep always saying, why they give money to MP, or it doesn't go to MPs? It goes through a structure or a system or something like that, you know. And they allocate it accordingly. That's what they do.
It goes to the MPs. It goes to the MPs. That is what is said. So I don't know the process. If the government said that MPs receive such and such amount of money, then the MP receive it.
But can I just ask something? Neonatal incubators, manual blood pressure machine, disposable lining. Was that all? Anyway, I'm not going to say anything.
No, Silver.
Yeah.
You remember that young that sorry.
Someone opening a hardware store.
No, it's not just a hardware store, it's a hardware distribution center.
Exactly. It come like it's an Amazon, right? Amazon I go on there, so.
Right? All this medical stuff, the Ministry of Health should have them on hand.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was saying the other day on a TikTok live that we are thankful for the Cornwall Regional, the health facility that they're putting up that side, right? And with the children hospital that they're putting up that side as well. But I'm saying, why is the government spending so many billions of dollars to create new healthcare facilities when the existing healthcare facilities are underrun, under-resourced, and understaffed? We're going to live in a country with 100 hospitals and there's no resource in them. There's no doctors, no nurses. That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense. So why don't we take these monies and improve the existing healthcare facilities that we have so that these resources can be available to people, as opposed to trying to build new healthcare facilities, right, to score political points.
Action
And
man. Action man.
big up. Go ahead.
While it makes no sense to you, it makes sense to the political operatives who are thinking about these things, right? It makes sense to them because they want to put their own stamp on it, say built by labor.
Exactly. So that may say score
Okay.
political points.
And listen to generators. Send some generators down. 80 kVA. You guys. I'm at
I mean, this is a
90%.
joke. This is a joke. I mean, this is a joke.
It's crazy.
Oh no, there's a drop off location. So it's from the UK as well. Drop off location in the UK.
Okay.
So drop off location so it's for the UK. So people can. So Matundo and Herbert,
Yeah, man.
let me know where to collect these things.
Yeah, man. Come meet me at B&Q.
and home base. And home base. Everything I didn't actually go through it, It's the person I was going through it a while ago and I realized, wait on a second. This is great, some hospital, something like that.
Hey, when what do you call them again? My American history slipping me. Basically, the guys who went to America to settle there after the early colonizers in America, when they were trying to build the country,
Yeah.
It's all like we're trying to build a new country.
Is it Goat Island? Goat Island of Jamaica.
Must be of Goat Island, yeah.
They said there's a beach, there's a restaurant off Jamaica coast or something like that. They said that restaurant stands still. Maybe that's it. As if donors will get a tax receipt. But listen, guys, thank you so much for joining tonight. Very lively discussion. But very important, on a serious note, we've got to keep this issue live. And I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna actually try to get individuals from within the UK political system or government and from America as well to talk about what happens when a congressman, an MP, a senator is being investigated for illicit enrichment. What happened to them? What is the process? And in the UK, I can say without a doubt that the press would hound that particular person. Not saying that they would have to resign from their seat as a member of parliament, but they'd have to step aside from any key functions that they have, any ministerial position or any parliamentary position that they have. And if anything, and it goes worse, than that, then they can be recalled. Uche, as we're talking about having that recall process, having that impeachment bit as well. Well, not impeachment in UK, but the recall, where the consequence, because they must go back to the consequence. As I keep saying all the while, the people are the ones that these MPs go to publicly. But after a while, they hide behind within the party. And I find it very interesting when I was listening today to someone saying the JLP need to, the JLP need to, the JLP need to. And then what they were actually referring to was that the government, because the JLP is a government. So really and truly is that the government need to. But when you say the JLP now, you're actually saying it is a party which you're focused on. And this is what happened why the Conservative lost that election as well, because there's so much focus on the party, getting this prime minister, get that next prime minister. Now all of a sudden the whole nation is looking and saying, what are these guys that you're imposing upon us? And what you're seeing now is the party is taking central center stage in Jamaica, because all I'm hearing now is the JLP, the JLP, the JLP, when it should be the government. You know, I'm trying to say. So that so what's going to happen to them is just like what happened in the UK.
But I do not think you should use in this context US as a benchmark. Because the current political climate, no, they're trying to
destabilize
some people while elevate some people. I think if you look next door, if you can get someone from Canada,
yeah,
it's a more stable environment.
What about Russia and North Korea?
Well, you can
go, yeah,
get someone from Afghanistan.
Listen, good night, all right?
All right, what's in there? Take care.
Conversation, all right? Until you start talking about
on that note, Matunda's giving us a benediction.
Good night, man.
Good night, Matunda. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Uche, have a good one, and thank you. I guess it's very early there now in Jamaica. You just want just daylight now. Night has start.
8 minutes to 6. No man, still bright. Still bright.
You see,
Still bright.
It's people like you figure out where you come from, you know.
Who is that?
You.
Where we come from?
Because you have to about, I guess, you guess it is still daylight.
Where me come from?
Eh?
Where me come from?
Don't watch it.
Okay, I'm glad they know that.
Right?
That's the most important thing. Come straight out of Ochi.
Since about it's only been about a couple hundred years since England has been 5 hours ahead of Jamaica. Yeah. So why you think the time would have changed today?
Yeah. Well, it's actually somebody here on TikTok just said, I'm from Ocherius. See? Live, I'm international, man. Ocherius there. Let me see if anybody on Instagram says
Yeah,
from Ocherius.
some people try to put themselves in company. You know. Some people try to put themselves in high company.
Sure, you know, hey, there's a gentleman that I walk in the park, and he's a very old guy, and he always say, "Are you guys still?" He said, "Are you guys still seeking independence? You guys need us, man. You guys need the UK." Him say,
Yeah, that's a valid question.
Yeah, the very elderly Englishman, and he said, "You guys still trying to get independent? You guys can't manage without us, or something like that."
That's a valid question.
You know. But on a serious note though, Uche,
Yeah.
on a serious note though, guys and everyone, it is 1962 Jamaica gained this level of independence. Let's
Yes.
say this level of independence. I don't call it independence. I call it the process towards independence. Yeah. 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
Are we still swearing allegiance to the King of England?
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at it from a wider level, it's a doggone shame, man.
King Charles should tell him that you guys don't have any shame.
Yeah, Yes.
So I was a boy, you know, swing allegiance to me. At 75 years later, it's still happening.
It's like that song. Shame, 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 shame on you.
Yeah.
Shame on you. Yeah. Sharon Pearson. Hi, Vita, how are you? You know, shame on. I'm gonna say it. Shame on Jamaica to still be swearing allegiance to the King of England.
Of course.
You know?
Of course.
First, Portia had said she's the only queen at the time. Remember that time when it should have happened? You Uche, where you born? Where you born it?
No. He wasn't around. It was He was around then.
Yeah, man, if it's Portia time, I was around, man. I was around.
Yeah. They want independence, but still want British money. You know. But on a serious note, I understand that the constitution bit needs to be sorted properly, but I don't believe that the government and the powers that be have the will, the driving will for Jamaica to be an independent country or to be a republic.
No, Silver.
Yeah,
They do it.
No one wants to take the responsibility if anything goes wrong to hold up their hands and say, you know what, I did it and I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Right? They only want to take credit for something if it goes right.
Yes.
What do you say? What do you say? Action is what are you saying as well, action?
Yeah, I don't think it is that they don't have the will. They do have the will. But as Mr. Mushet said, yeah, they don't want. But I mean, it's a national project. The Constitution, the supreme piece of legislation. Let's have everybody at the table, but the way in which they're doing it now, that's going to create problem. That definitely going to create problem, you know. This secret under table business where they go, that going to create problems. They need to take it to the people, as you said, take it to the people. The people need to be at the table. You understand? The town hall meetings has to be more open.
Real town hall meetings as well. Not the one that just says that we had a town hall, we had a consultation.
Yeah.
You know?
We're talking about exactly. That is what they need to do. You understand? But the way
someone just asked a question. If we change constitution, will that stop corruption?
No.
Yes, it can.
No,
yes,
it will not.
Okay.
Yes, it.
Let's go, Herbert. Herbert, you say no. Why not?
Because
I go to action.
The people who are looking to change the constitution, they are just changing the constitution for changing its sake. They're not changing the laws to coincide with the change of the constitution. And with the document that Action quoted, where the Integrity Commission can only investigate but cannot make the names public of the people that they're investigating until those critical areas are addressed. Corruption, Jamaica will continue to be 69 and 70 on the CPI. So corruption will just go overnight. It's a process in getting rid of corruption, in getting your name off the list of corrupt countries. Right? It's not an overnight thing. It is a process.
What do you say then, action now about that? And what do people say?
But I mean, if the constitution, if the supreme law of the land is orderly, right? It is set up to match the reality of the country, right? I believe that the other legislations that come afterwards should also be consistent with the constitution. That is how it should be. So you shouldn't have the constitution that says, hey, if a public officer does this, this is the action or what should happen to him. And then we have another piece of legislation, right, that is saying something totally different. You understand? So there has to be the laws, as Mr. Mushet said, the bylaws or the other, smaller piece of legislation has to be consistent with with the Constitution, but I believe the Constitution also gives impunity to some of these actions from parliamentarians, right? So
Yes.
when we address that, we will incrementally deal with corruption. It's not going to go away overnight, as Mr. Mushet, and we all know, right? But incrementally, we will fix this. You understand? When we have impeachment, when we have recall and those things, I mean, these people will do what they need to do because they know so the people now play for call them out. You understand? So they will get in line. And then we need strong enforcement of legislation. We don't want any nepotism and favoritism to flood the political system. Me of bridging over in the legislative body. Right? There has to be separation of power. There has to be separation of power. So the people that are enforcing the law is not friends with those in other parts of government. So them kind of look out for them. You understand? These things have to clear up.
Somebody said, I don't understand what Winnie Small said. Free healthcare offer eventually leads to the rundown of facilities and limited resources. Just give what you guys think is more appropriate. You're all there bashing the country. Oh, maybe is he referring to the
High Commission?
The store list, the hardware list?
Yeah, the shopping list.
The shopping list. Okay.
Well, I
We're
mean,
not bashing the country, boss. We're not bashing the country.
Really small.
we can do something.
We've been down this road
Donate
before.
something.
Sorry, what is it?
We have been down this road before where when you speak, people will say you're bashing the country,
Yes.
right? Not because you speak the truth or speak something that people do not agree with means that we're bashing the country. Yeah? We speak because we have the platform to educate people. And you can only educate people with good arguments.
Yes.
And making good arguments is not bashing the country.
Yeah. I always find it, and I'm sure if someone listened to this program today, they would say it's a PNP program. You know why? Because it is being critical of the
Government.
Administration.
Enrichment, critical of the government, and nothing is wrong in being critical of the government because you want the best for Jamaica. And that is something that I find very annoying, I must say, when it comes on to people in Jamaica at times. When you're being critical and being objective, people will like to apportion you or assign to you, so you are this or that. And I just say it's hogwash. That's what I say all the while. It is both BS, and it's just hogwash, really. And that is why I'm really encouraging as much as possible bloggers and those persons who really speak out to speak out no matter what. You got my support, you got the international support, and let nobody tie you down, let nobody gag you guys, let no prime minister, as I said, let no boy, no man, no girl, I got no woman,
No boy, no man, no girl.
no man, no boy, no girl, you know,
That's
I
right.
need a week to just flash it, you know what I mean?
That's right.
So I encourage my fellow Jamaicans, and I do believe that the election is going to be, when it comes, it's going to be the other way. You know, I do believe that, and personally, I say it all the while. I believe that after 8 years, there need to be a change because people become very arrogant. People become full of themselves. People believe that the earth is theirs. People believe that they own Jamaica.
There's one of the ideas.
And they're not open for new things and new ideas and to listen to the people. So because of that, and as what's his name says, Alan Sugar, and for all of that, you're fired.
Yeah, man. Politicians run out of ideas.
You know, and one cannot, you know, it happened here, Uche. In the UK, everybody was, the signs were on the wall. Everybody was saying time's up. And Jamaicans must feel free to say these things. And I hope that eventually, whenever there is any fundamental change, there'll be this sort of mentality that will come across where Jamaicans can feel free to speak objectively, to speak against a government because they don't like what is happening, and feel free to go to their work the next day and know that their job is safe and feel that nobody's trying to get them out. That is what I love to see. Now, that is what I call independence.
Yeah.
That is what I call freeness, independence, when people
Yeah.
can feel free to do that. Right now, I think Jamaica, in a way, is caught up in this whole era of the former years. You know what I'm trying to say? Control factor, where people feel cocoon in a way. Am I right? Action now, J.A.?
Yeah, right. I think the best way the Prime Minister can have the country silence on his administrative actions or the actions of his administration is to do what we the people want him to do. Simple as that. If he does otherwise, you're gonna talk. Right. So
Yes.
do what you want him to do. That is the best way
Yes.
to have
Yes.
silence. Do the right things. Simple
Yeah,
as
do
that.
the right thing. As Spike Lee said, do the right thing. You know what I'm trying to say? Well, on that note, guys, we will take a leave now. Uche, thank you so much for joining, and keep up the fire, keep up the youth, and work with the civil society. As a matter of fact, start to declare that you are also civil society as well, not just Jeanette Kilda, not just Advocacy Network with Professor Rosalie, not just Integrity in Action with Daniel Archer, but you guys and Dr. Senate Body all fall within that ambit of civil society. I'm also a part of civil society as well. I've grown up with these guys. That's what we are, and put pressure on the government. Herbert,
Yeah. Bless up.
bless up. Have a good one. And
Yeah,
peace
man.
out, guys. Take care. Cheers. Cheers. Bye, Uche. Take care, man. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight. And for those who are on Facebook, those who are on YouTube, those who are on, what should I say, TikTok, I want to thank you so much for joining. And, let's hope that and pray that we everything will turn out right for Jamaica, and also we wish the best for President Trump as well. Let's hope that
Oh,
it's not.
which president is talking about?
No, I'm just saying also something about President Trump, because there was
He's
an
not
issue.
president.
I'm sorry.
He's not the president.
No, the President
He's
Trump.
the former president.
So 1 second, Bertie, let me just finish here. Yeah. The former President Trump there, with the recent shooting incident. Many people are saying he got shot. Some don't know if he got shot or not. But we watch his space and see what happened there. So remember to like and subscribe and to follow the show as much as possible. And see you Sunday next week. Next week Tuesday, I may be having the Jamaica High Commission. I believe I might be having the Jamaica High Commission in the UK here to talk about the relief for Hurricane Beryl. I think that's we're supposed. It's not finalized complete yet, but it should be Tuesday at 9 p.m. all being well, and then Thursday night again in review, where we look at the political landscape. We're seeing what is happening in the UK, whereby the government is talking about releasing prisoners at 40% of the time that they have served as well. And, so lots of things happening there with the new government. And of course, Keir Starmer said that he had a meeting with President Trump, and everything was well. Everything seemed to be nice and hunky-dory when he met with President Trump, even though the signs are on the wall that it is not looking well there. Okay? So peace out. Have a good day, and God bless you. Thank you.